We have made it to Croatia.
At last.
At last indeed. If you've been following our journey, you'll know we originally planned to be here nearly 4 weeks ago. But adventures in Slovenia, Hungary and Jordan slowed us down. So here we are, back in the van with just enough time before we head to Africa to explore 2 highlights of northern Croatia. The charming little town of Rovinj and the incredible lakes and waterfalls of the Plitvis National Park. We are the Newbys, a family of travel adventurers on a mission to make our minutes and seconds matter. I'm Tara, born and raised in Africa and obsessed with wild things and wild places. This is John. He's lived a life on the road and has visited 163 countries. And this is our son Crusoe, who has ambitions to get to 100 countries before he goes to school. He's going to need our help with that, so hit that subscribe button and join us every Sunday as we discover our extraordinary world as a family, teaching us all to be brave, think big, and to explore. So we've woken up in Pittvik National Park this morning.
That's right, yeah.
Super excited to be here. I was reading The Lonely Planet last night and discovered that this is Croatia's most famous and most visited national park. It receives 750,000 visitors every year.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. At the moment they're selling 600 tickets into the national park per hour, and apparently it's really quite quiet at the minute, according to the campsite. But we have got out early this morning because when we tried to go yesterday afternoon, there were literally tour buses spitting crowds of people out into the national park, and that just is not the way we like things. So
it is a really big area though. So
yeah, it's massive.
We're hoping that when we get in there'll be a couple of centered spots where there's really a lot of people, but for the most part on the paths, on the walkways, it should be fairly quiet. Also worth noting that there are boats and also trains that we have to take in order to make this route today. Yeah,
it's really cool. So the ticket includes all the buses, trains and boats that you will need to see all of the lakes. I think there's 16 lakes, I think. Double check that. But yeah, we hope that we can try and do the long route. I think the full route is 18 kilometers, so we'll see if that's...
Crusoe's up for it.
We'll see if that's doable for us. Otherwise, there's an 8-kilometer route, which looks fab. We were thinking 8 kilometers probably takes 4 or 5 hours, and with filming and stopping and kind of doing what we do, that's probably what would work well for us today.
I think that's a full day. So, worth also noting that this is tourist centre. We are in Croatia's tourist mecca. Forget about Dubrovnik or Rovinj or Trogir. This is where the tourists come to, and price points for park-ups, for campsites and hotels are really high.
Yeah, one place is charging 70 euros for 2 people and a camper.
We are staying at a place called the Bear Camp.
Yeah.
We found it pretty reasonable. We're paying 20...
Well, it's 25 euros or 180 krona, which converts to about 17 euros. So this is another trick, is ask for the price in krona, and if you can, pay in krona with cash, because it is a lot cheaper.
Yeah, a lot cheaper. Yeah, good idea.
Love it.
All right, so off we go.
Off we go, on with the show.
Let's get us some tickets.
Yeah.
So we've got here at around about 8 o'clock in the morning. It's already starting to fill up, and it's quite late in the season. Already quite busy. Got tickets.
Let's go. Where do we go?
This way.
Come on then. I so appreciate that sign telling you to bring credit cards. The amount of times we've been in a place and you get there and they're like, we don't take card or we don't take cash, and you've had no warning. Like it, Croatia.
Like it.
Like it.
There are 2 entrances to the lakes. We have come to entrance number 2. I don't know whether it's an arbitrary decision or whether it's a smart one, but I think at the top here we've got the smaller lakes and the smaller waterfalls that I think later on in the day are going to get quite busy. Another good thing to note is we bought our tickets back there in the car park where there's a ticket box. Usually the queues at that ticket box are really long. If you walk 10 minutes further along the trail, there's a second ticket box where the queues are a little bit shorter.
You can also buy your ticket a day in advance online, which is definitely advisable if you're here in the
peak season.
August. So these are our options from here: E, F, H and K. E is 5Ks, F is 4.6, H is 8.9 and K is the full 18 kilometers.
Let's do H.
H it is.
Okay, which way is H?
4 to 6 hours. That way. We have to get on the bus. Well, that was the bus. We ended up having to wait about half an hour for that bus to get going, which was a bit frustrating. So anyway, we're here now. It's brought us up to station 3, which seems to be right at the top of the lakes, and we think we're just going to be wandering all the way back down again, probably predominantly downhill, jumping on a few boats, maybe a train, until we get back to car park number 2.
So as we expected, this is part of the longer walk, route H, and now we're out actually on the walk. We're walking along some pretty cool duck boards. There aren't that many people around, but it feels fairly peaceful, doesn't it? It doesn't feel too hectic.
Peaceful. And I said to John, although we're not really, you know, of course you'd love to be able to come into a place like this and just explore on your own steam and just kind of go off east. The reality is this is a place that gets lots of visitors, and it's really nice to come here feeling like you're leaving no trace, you know?
Yeah.
And having no impact, because all the boardwalks are raised. That bus is the only transport that comes in here. So you can kind of come without feeling like you're a burden on the place, which is really cool. And this is only a sign of things to come, I'm sure. What a beautiful place.
We've been walking now for about, I don't know, 20 minutes. And we haven't got very far because everywhere you look, something different to see. It is truly extraordinary. And I don't think even if somebody sat down with a drawing board and started designing lakes and waterfalls and where trees would go, that they would be able to design something better than this. This is truly nature at its very, very best.
And the way that the duck boards kind of weave their way, and the walkways weave their way in and out of the lakes and over the little waterfalls, it is absolutely genius. They've nailed it.
They've done it really, really well, haven't they?
They've nailed it.
The plants, the lakes, they all seem to kind of, I don't know.
Well, it's just existing as if we weren't here, and that's how it should be.
Yeah, it blends really well.
It's beautifully done.
You couldn't design it better, could you?
It really is amazing. I keep having moments of getting goosebumps because it's kind of magical. I don't know.
When you see the road from every direction, it will give you eyes, give you hope, it'll give you perspective. I've been back and forth, and yeah, I had my crashes. Now I've seen the road, it goes
Then leave the lakes very briefly and come into these extraordinary forests. But there's always the quiet tinkle of little waterfalls everywhere. Amazing.
some days. The road will lead us to a better place. The road will lead us to a better place.
After last week's epic adventure in Jordan, Croatia had a tough act to follow. But with the red and orange desert hues now replaced by a spectrum of blue and green before us, we were surely as inspired to be here as we were walking the desert dunes last week.
Ends come and go. Look toward the horizon. Up ahead you'll find a peace of
Those
mind.
are Crusoe-sized waterfalls. Let's go see if we can find some bigger ones.
Look at that.
These are mummy and daddy sized waterfalls.
Isn't that magical?
Yeah, and if we walk around a little bit further, we're going to be able to see the whole length of them from the bottom.
Stories to tell, the times we've grew and the times we've
Getting hot, huh?
No, let's find a place where we're not going to get pushed off the walkways where I can take off my jacket. Next thing on the agenda, I think, is we all need to stop for a snack.
Yeah, me too.
We're off to a boat. No idea how long it takes, but we're going on a boat. So the ticket includes all of the walking trails, all of the boats, all of the trains and all of the buses. So you buy one ticket and you can make your way around here however which way you like.
Okay, there's the boat. Let's go.
Found the boat. The Plitvis Lakes National Park was granted UNESCO World Heritage status in 1979. Located roughly halfway between the capital city Zagreb and Zadar on the coast, the lakes are a definite must-see in Croatia. The park is large, covering 300 square kilometers made up of 16 lakes interconnected by a series of spectacular waterfalls. Set deep in woodland, so the boats and buses that are free to use are very useful, taking you quietly from one part of the park to the other, a seamless journey through a water wonderland. If our niece Summer were here, we'd have surely been hunting for fairies.
Tara forgot to pack snacks.
No, I packed snacks. I just didn't pack sandwiches, and you're hungrier than my snacks.
So we're going to go get some snacks.
They've got snacks here, sandwiches.
Just paid around about £14 for lunch. If you're looking for a bit of thrift, there are a lot of benches around here, and I've seen a lot of people with their own packed lunch.
That's actually an alright vegan burger. I think it's kind of made with kidney beans or something, and lentils. Sometimes they can be disgusting, but that one is really, it's alright.
Yeah, and my sandwich, cheese sandwich, has got pickles in it. Yum yum. Pleased with that.
14 quid for all of it. It's alright, I think,
Yeah,
in a
live
place like this.
with that.
So we parked here, got the bus all the way up to station 3. We've wiggled and weaved our way all the way back down here. We got on the boat at P2, it brought us to P3. We're now going to walk our way all the way through here. This is where the great waterfall is. And then we're going to walk our way back along the lake shore to station 2, where we have parked the car. And so our time at the lake started to draw to a close, but not before we walked the lower lakes, arguably the more impressive in terms of colour, with iridescent hues of turquoise and blue catching the light between the leaves as we made our way towards the Great Waterfall. Unbeknownst to us, the Great Waterfall was lacking in, well, great water, and so it was a little unimpressive compared to the pictures we've seen. But it is Croatia's tallest waterfall, and if you know anything about the Newbys, you'll know how much we love to scout out a country's tallest waterfall. Feeling fulfilled and delighted by the entire experience, we made our way back to the van along the lake shore. Tomorrow, we had city streets in store. Made it back to where we got the first bus. I think that took us about 6 hours in total.
Including an hour for lunch or so anyway.
Yeah, which is kind of what we expected, so
Yeah.
that's cool.
If you are tight on money and you come in here after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which would mean that you get around about 4 hours in the park, you'll be able to save yourself 150 krona.
Really?
Yeah, it's over half price cheaper.
Oh, wow. That's very kind of them.
Yeah.
They really have thought of everything. And so it was time for us to head towards Rovinj, a small city in northern Croatia that looks like a turtle shell sticking out of the sea. If you picture Croatia and you haven't been before, it's quite likely that what comes to mind are beautiful historical coastal towns with terracotta rooftops and winding, narrow cobbled streets. And that's exactly what Rovinj delivers. A small harbour city, it's well worth a visit and is definitely a lot easier to reach by road from the rest of Europe than its more famous cousins Dubrovnik and Trogir much further south. We spent a wonderful day ambling around, visiting the church and climbing up the bell tower to enjoy the views, and wandering the ancient streets before our time in Croatia began to draw to a close.
Well, we've made a decision. We've decided that it's time to go home.
It's time to go home. It's starting to get cold in Europe. We have got 2 weeks until we fly to Africa, and it is just time to go home, turn ourselves around, pack up the winter stuff, get the summer stuff back out again, and get ourselves ready for 3 months on the road in a van in Africa.
Yeah, I can't wait. I absolutely can't wait. So look out for next week's video, which will wrap up our European adventures that have been, well, they started almost 18 months ago now.
Yeah, it has been an incredible over 30 countries in a van, and we're still pinching ourselves that it happened. It's just been the very best thing ever. Some before Crusoe's time, some with Crusoe, and it's just been the best. So
30 country odyssey.
a 30 country odyssey. So tune in next week, and then after that we will be setting sail for wilder shores.
We will. Where the elephants, the giraffe, the lions, they're all waiting for us, and it will be South Africa, Lesotho, Eswatini,
Yay!
Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Malawi, Zambia,
And
all
then
waiting.
who knows?
And then who knows?
Super excited. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you've enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave us a comment because we love chit-chatting with you.
Yeah,
And we'll see you next week.
we'll see you next week. Thanks very much.